Shri Gurubhyo Paramagurubhyo Srimadananda Tirtha Bhagavat Padacharyobhyo Namo Namaha Narayana Paripurna Gunarnavaya Visvodaya Stithitolaya Nidhi Prataya Jnana Prataya Vibuddha Suratrika Satkaranaya Vidadaya Namo Namaste Yo Vipralimba Viparita Madiprabodhan Vadan Sakatvan Bhuvidatvavadam Sarvesvaro Haririti Pratipatakam Tam Ananda Tirtha Munivaryam Namami पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनुवे सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विश्वदावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Welcome, friends, again to our the continuance of the Kathopanishad session, which we are continuing after a couple of weeks. Now we will go ahead with the recapping, whatever we have discussed, and we will go ahead. But in the meanwhile, today happens to be a Teacher's Day. It is like a Guru Purnima, in terms of English calendar, and it is the birthday of one of the philosopher presidents. As well, it is being celebrated all over. In this day, because we may also sort of give our gratitude to all our gurus, right from our the kindergarten days, primary, and as well as to a high school and college, and everyone has contributed, including so many strangers from whom we have learned, because occasionally also we have learned. They have all contributed. Because of that only we have got an attitude, we have gotten an approach, by which, we are able to come to such a higher scriptural knowledge for which we have assembled here. In this context, because there is one famous sort of a Guru Vandana is there, because it is being recited in most of the time, particularly, in praise of Raghavendra Swami. Apata Mauli Paryantam Guru Nam Akritam Smaret Tena Vignaha Pranasyanti Siddhyanti Cha Manorataha. In the sense, once you have Guru, as is in your thought, because whenever you are getting to any of the obstacles, or when you are into the crossroads, when you reach a dead end, he removes all the sort of because obstacles in the form of clarity of thought. All your confusions go out, and once the confusions go out and the light is thrown onto your wisdom and discriminating power, by which you get the clarity, and that enables you to walk through this, cross over these obstacles, and finally get to the excellence which you need to achieve your things in this world. Whenever you are going to do anything and achieve anything, it is not for yourself. Swaprayojane se bhi paraprayojana. That is what the karma is. It is not for only yourself, but it happens. Without your knowledge, it happens. It has a ripple effect. That is what we have seen all along. How, because in the delineation of the God, how the God has been trying to be described, and how he is in everyone as an immanent as well as transcendent. Immanent in you and activates you, and he gives you everything, but then he doesn't sort of not look for, because he is making you everything possible within your command, control, and capability. And your life in this world is to increase your command capability and the skill to go through that. He helps you in that process, because if you are trying to take his help, you will be able to excel in everything, whatever you are doing. Once you do excellence, what would be the result? Result will also be an excellence. You cannot, because in a bad, a good act, will always have to give back you the good. That is why, the gratitude, when you give it to the world, it returns you in several folds. That is why they say the cosmic power, universal power, and even the quantum theory is being quoted as to how, because once we enable us to give, because once we give it without bothering about anything, because we have got a excellence in certain things, so we contribute, it comes back to us, and it enables you to further enhance our skill, capability, and all. So basically, it is the concept of nobility which comes in the form of love, the capability, because which we acquire, in this the knowledge we acquire in this world, that because that is where it removes all the obstacles and the capabilities by which we are able to excel in everything. That's why asatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, asatoma sadgamaya, in the sense I let me able to find what is truth in the sense how best I can excel and do the things. How can I be a good person? How can I be a good son to my parents? How can I be a good father to my children? How can I be a good neighbor to our neighborhood? And how can I be a good citizen in this country where you are living? Janani Janmabhumi. Janani Janmabhumi Swargasya Gamishyati. Because that's what, and even your birthplace is, because so great, because it has contributed everything, because the earth has contributed to your food, the society has contributed to your well-being, and it has nourished you, and it has brought you to this level. You have to always accept, rather give the gratitude. Always, the gratitude is the highest form of any noble act, any person can do, because by which you are only going to get, you are not going to lose anything. So once we have this attitude, then we will not be bothering about what we are going to get in transactional benefit. That's why karmanyeva adhikarastu na paleshu kadachana. Listen, you will not be expecting, because you have got that attitude. This is exactly all our scriptures are trying to focus on. In this context, they were trying to think, because the God, when the God is said, he is inside you, he is outside you, he is everywhere and all. How can it? Because it is an invisible God. Every religion has tried to delineate the God. And our religion, because every religion has got a particular way of delineating God. They have got the Gospels, on the Gospels, because they have got exegesis, because which is in terms of, all the expositions. Like in Sanatana Dharma, we have got, because all the great scriptures, Veda is there, and the Bhagavad Gita is there, and Upanishads are there, Prasthanatraya. On that, we have got the darshanas of the great masters like Shankara, Ramanuja, and Madhvacharya, Nimbarka, Chaitanya, and everyone has given this great exposition of that. Is it that one is different from other? They have all taken, because it is such a vast, it is a diamond with so many faces, because one face of the diamond has been taken and explained. So you have to see the whole. You will not be, one is not belittling the other one. Everyone is given the excellence in their own way. You should be able to capture, and to the extent possible, and try to savor that, and then go about. That is life. So there is no point in talking about, philosophy, and, because this philosophy, that philosophy, and all. If you go on having a philosophy, you will not have a life. And if you are having a life, because you should have the philosophy ingrained in your attitude. It is not something to be learned and always talked about and because argued about and all. The dialectics is one of the very great form of exposition. Dialect takes various points of view and explains how this point of view sort of reflects the other point of view in a different way and all. Because that is why dialectics is the very great possible in the great masters like Jayatirtha, Vyasatirtha, Bhamati, and great masters, because Sudarshana Suri in sort of a Visishtadvaita philosophy, they've all brought in so many things. If you take all the scriptures, expositions, everything, what is available in our country, even a great city will not be able to accommodate. We have got so much of scriptures to learn, savor, and indulge in this, because life, because that is what God has given. But whatever to the little extent which are possible, we are trying to do that, because the essence of those things have been given in the Upanishad so beautifully, because explaining every paradox. Every paradox is always put you into dilemma in a normal world, because if it is there and if it is not there, because likewise you've got both sides of the game. Yes and no is there. But the Upanishad brings, out of these paradoxes, it brings the dexterous delineation of the Almighty, how you can perceive the invisible God which has been expounded by every religion. It is not, because the sort of only, because the one religion is, because right, it is every religion, everywhere society was there, they have gone about it. That is why, with our Upanishad has given the greatest word called Neha Nanasti Kinchana, because whatever the God that has been thought out and expounded by everyone is nothing but the great power. How we have to know the great power and how we have to make our life wonderful, in this limited time what has been given to us. What is this limited time? Because we have got the body, form, name, and that's why we consider it to be limited. We are unlimited. We have been existing several, because millennia before, we are going to exist, because another few millennia to come. Despite that, we get attached to the form in which we are there, because that, how to realize that, how to sort of understand, you are a creature, and you are a creature with all the divine qualities, you will be able to imbibe in this world from the paramount power, who has created this world, or who seem to have created this world. If not, he is immanent in you also. You try to understand that self, that is what the purpose of this. We have seen the great three mantras, the mantra number 9, 10, and 11 of the second chapter, where we said Agniri Yatako Bhuvanam Pravishta, because like Agni, because like fire, it takes different forms in this world, it takes different amsas. So all the human beings are a reflection of this different amsas. Because Agni is something, because it is the eternal power which has been created by the paramount Purusha, Brahma, and which has come in the place to help us. So is Vayu. Vayu has also got different sort of manifestations. Different amsas are there. So all these things, when it is being reflected in, like Agni is being used in your kitchen, and Agni is being used in a fireplace, Agni is used in a yajna, yaga, and Agni is being used in, sort of a battlefield. All those things are having a different manifestations. Like all of us are having a different forms and names, because we are a reflection of the different manifestation of the ultimate power who has come here. That is what we have to understand. So that two mantras said, and then he said, if that is the page, if he is going to be inside and he is going to be outside, how he is not affected? You are undergoing so much of a problem, you are undergoing so much of a happiness, he should also be affected. He will not be affected. The Upanishad gives you with a beautiful simile. That's what we have seen. Like a sun is glowing, because it is having the Kranmayena Patrena Satyasya Apihitam Mukham. Every day he comes and lights up the whole world in different time. He goes up Yekarshi, he doesn't take any rest. But then, if you are not able to sun in its full glory, in full potency, in the same golden orb you are not producing, there is something wrong with your eyes, not with the sun. So the power inside you is like a sun. He lights up. He is like a consciousness, pure consciousness. He lights up your thoughts, your actions, and all. But because he is needed for you to light up your thought action. But he doesn't need you, because he is Swatantra. You are Paratantra. That is why the consciousness. But the same consciousness lights up everyone. Likewise, because whatever, because it may be a reflection in a different place, because in the different religion will call them by different ways and forms. But finally, the ultimate power what every religion is trying to attempt and to know the invisible is one and the same. And likewise, if you are not able to realize, and if you are trying to seek the transactional or human sensibilities to understand the God, you will not be able to understand. The God will be understood by, because whenever, you are free of every thought, whenever you do not have any sort of a contaminated thoughts, whenever you don't have any senses, sort of dominating you, in that fine moment, when you are like, in a seashore, when there is a fine wind blowing, And as well as, the sea is at its calm and the sun is setting and the moon is about to rise on the full moon day, when you see the birds are getting back to their nest, when you see nothing come, that beauty, that you enjoy, that rejoice automatically comes. You don't have to go after the rejoice. So once you take a detached view of life as what is happening through us, happening through our actions. Karma is not, we are not doing the karma. We are not the doers. We are getting it done. Once you understand, we have to understand that, because that's why, because God is something different from you, but at the same time, He enables you to do everything. He's a friend. Why can't you take a time every day, to chat with Him? Not in your prayer room and praying to Him, you give me this, you give me that, or you take me that, and you do, and you are doing that, and because that fellow is doing so well, and but I am not doing well, why don't you take care of me? Certain, I am not that. You just be talking, because he has been brought to you, he has given you so much of opportunities till today. You have seen the world, and you had your own blissful times. You had also surmounted so many sort of obstacles, and you have also sort of conquered so many things mentally, because your happiness has seen no bounds, whenever you are so happy, when you got all those things. How this is called qualia in philosophical terms. Qualia is something you can't explain. It is more to be experienced, not to be expressed. Love. How? Because loving your child, your love to your child, can it be experienced? Can it be explained by someone else? He has to experience only with his love to his child. That is only possible. He can't explain your love to your child, because you are different, and because you got your own qualia, your conditionalities. Your affection to your child is, you don't need anyone to sort of give certificate to you. You know what is, how you are loving your child, how your child loves you back, and all those things. But whenever you find, because then what happens when we do all these things, it creates some expectations. Once it creates, it is automatically that you expect, even without telling, the other person knowing his conditions, you still expect. And once you don't try to understand, the process of this entire expectations and all, then you get into the sorrow. This is what exactly, because we will be seeing that. So before that, he says, because, like we married, he is giving you everything. You are, you can chat to him when you are in a free time, when you are walking alone in the morning walk. Why don't you see, the flowers blooming on the trees? And you said, why don't you think, because Vedaham Edam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varnam, because what a color, because he must be of this color. And the sky is, the reddening in the morning, even you are seeing beautifully, you are in the seashore, and the waves are slowly coming and caressing your feet, because these are all created by him, because he lives in all those things, which gives you, without any expectation, the joy, the rejoice. The joy doesn't come with the expectation, it happens. It happens when you are free of all these sensibilities, when you don't have any indulging, you are getting into that. Then you will get it. Otherwise, you will not be able to comprehend. You will be able to apprehend these fine moments that comes to you. Surya se eto sarva lokasya sakshu. This is what the last mantra we have seen. Mantra number 11. Na lipyate sakshurvai bahya doshaha. Because if you are having a cataract, if you are not able to see the sun, it is not the sun's fault. It is your fault. Like your computer laptop, because he's not giving the sort of, the picture clearly, it is not the fault of, the computer, because it is the driver which is driving the camera in your laptop, or the camera in your laptop is the fault. So the driver is there, it enables the camera to capture and give it. But then you will have to update the driver. Whenever the driver is updated, then it will be able to give a clear picture. Likewise, it's in the ekastata sarva bhutantaratma, because he is there in everyone. So therefore, what is the na lipyate loka dukkena bahyaha? So when you don't have a contamination, when you don't have a besmirched, when you are not stained in your thought, you will certainly get to realizing. This is what we have seen. These three mantras gave, because at how There is no difference between anyone and everywhere, and he is there and all. So in this context only, a small story has been said, because when he is inside you, because when he is supposed to be so powerful, why I am not powerful? This may come under. In this context only, Chinmayananda gives a very lovely story to bring about the point. He says, when Tenali Rama, because the great the jester, court jester of Vijayanagar Empire, when he was, trying to pray, because he did a very sincere prayers. He is a sincere man. He is a man of wisdom. So when he did, suddenly, because the Devi appeared in front of him, like Kali appeared in front of Kalidasa. He said, Sahastra Sisha Purushat Sahasrabad. Likewise, she came with 1,000 Sahastra Sisha, because Devi came with the thousands of heads. And he got bewildered, befuddled. How come, just I prayed sincerely, she appeared. So then when he said, and as she was, then suddenly he started laughing. He said, because just now as I was saying, I am having a sneeze. I am not able to control with my two hands. You got thousands of heads. If you all the heads, started sneezing, how you are able to manage with only two hands? So that is, because that is a allegory scheme, because that is so powerful. So once she is so powerful, because she laughed at, because the innocence of this man, how he takes his experience, the same experience will be with that. He said, because she blessed him, you will be having a wonderful sense of humor. You will be the ultimate in the humor, in your court. That's how he was blessed. Because this is what the story says. Likewise, because you had the innocence. Because we had the innocence, we lost it, in the upbringing. Now, because we are all covered with all the cobwebs. Once you remove it, you'll have to regain the innocence which you have lost. The life is about the lost innocence is being regained. This is what the Upanishad tries to tell us in a very simple terms. Now, having come to that, why, because we see, all this now, you have said, God is this, and we have seen in all the Upanishads. Isavasha Upanishad also said, he is Sakayam, Avranam, Asnaviram, Suddham, Apapa Viddham. He doesn't have a body, because he never has anything to call sorrow. And he is expanding everything. He is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. And all then, because we have seen everything. And I like, because he has been brought about, to a sort of more understandable in Kathopanishad. And Mandukopanishad is said, because he is finally the Pranava. He controls you in all three states. Whatever we have right from the birth now, because Jagrata, Sushupta, and Sapnasthana, on all the things, dream and waking stage and deep sleep stage, all these things he is controlling. And he brings about the thoughts. He brings about, out of that, the action comes. All these things, we have seen. Now, having seen the God in different dimensions in various different, what is the bliss of this? Because what is that joy? What is joy? It happens. That's what we say. You don't have to go after it happens, when you are in such a state of mind, because rather no mind state. That's what they, because the mind will not be active. When you suddenly God comes and asks you in front of you right away, if you have to, what do you want? And I will ask him, kindly keep the internet on, because let it not go. That's what I will ask, because that's what the problem I am facing on and off. But the God will offer, because why don't you ask for something more? I should have a permanent, because sort of a great, server here, and because it continuously give not only to me, to so many other people the internet, something like that. Because it is, we don't know what we have to ask for, because we don't have anything to ask for. So now this indescribable, when you attain the state, how to get, because what is that happiness? That is what the mantra number 12 and 13 are going to sort of explain. We will be seeing in the tandem. Eko Vashi, it is in your page number 118, or because I don't have the book in front of me, you can see that 2.2.12, because that is the mantra. It will be indescribable bliss of God, all self-realization, or being one and controlling all. These are all the, because the heading that would have been available. Eko Vashi Sarva Bhutan Tantaratma, the one and the only one. He is there, in everyone. This has been interpreted by, because the darshanas have said, because he is the same one, because which he has manifested in different. sort of, because he appears as a different people and different creatures and all. Whereas he is the one and the one. And he is the one who is inside everyone and activating. That is, the Bhakti school says. And he is the one and the one. All others are part of him. That is what Vishtadvesa. This Sarira Mimamsika. He is one and we are all part of it. But when we are on our own, we are not, because we are Alpagya. But when we are into him as a part of it, we are all Sarvagya. We know everything about it. But the Bhakti school, Vaishnava school, like Tattvavada, it says, he is the one and the only one, Sarvagya. You can't be a Sarvagya because you have got the imperfections, you have got the contaminations. However good, you may have to evolve. Finally, you get something like that quality because you will only be able to apprehend the great rejoice. You will not be able to comprehend. Eko vashi sarvabhutan antaratma ekam rupa bahitaya karoti. Ekam rupa, only person appears as different. Ya karoti, bahutaya karoti. Karoti in the sense he makes different. See, that is what, because karoti in bhavati it has not said. He is not becoming. That is, because that is what, because the interpretations come and all. Ekam rupam bahuta ya karoti. Because it makes different amsas. We have seen whenever, the highest power, be it Agni or Vayu and all, they have got different amsas in the world. The reflection of those amsas, like, the ultimate power also, he has got different amsas, like his different avatars. He comes in different amsas. The reflection of those samsas appears as the creatures. And because the highest evolution of that is the beings. And some of the amsas being reflected as the stavara, some of them are jangama, some of them are as animals. We have already seen, one of the mantras where yoni madhye prabhadyante, because whenever, you get into, when you are not able to get it, because you come back to this life, because as a being. And then, because it also said, some of us become minerals, because that we have seen in 2 mantras, 3 mantras earlier. Likewise, depending on that, they are all reflection, but different amsas. So therefore, finally, he is there, because he gives the necessary power. The animal needs instinctive power. It doesn't have to have the discriminating power. It doesn't have to have a philosophical power and all. That's why it is not able to evolve. But once you evolve, we might have been animals some birth. Now we are human beings. Once we have come, we have become, because this full-fledged Durlabham Manushya Janmanam, as we have said, once we have done, then we are done. Because likewise, Karoti, he makes different creatures because of the reflections of the different amsas. Like water, because in the desert will reflect something, ocean will reflect something, lakes will reflect something, river will reflect something. So all those are reflecting. We are all reflections. Once you understand the reflection, as explained, because in various Puranas as well as in the Vedas, it doesn't matter, with whatever philosophy you fall, because finally you are just having that. Finally, your power is to finally get that the power of the reflection. How you will be able to get? If the water is muddy, you will not be able to get. Clarity has to be there. But we are all conditioned by the 3 qualities: sattva, rajasa, and tamasa. So more you, tamasa is like a darkened glass. Nothing pervades. You will not be able to reflect. Even the reflection is there, because the sun is trying to reflect on you. Your water is so muddy, you will not be able to reflect. And rajasa is little clarity, and because you've got a clarity, but you will be able to do your actions, but still, because you've got some hazy, because it's not as clear as it is. But once you have a sattva, once you have that more sattva component in you, you will be like a crystal through which the light will pass through, like a knife which will cut through the butter. So at that point of time, because you become fully reflecting the potential and try to get the same qualities of that particular power, through which, your reflections appear here. Tamat, tamat amasyam. Yana anupashyanti dhiraha. The one wise who knows. They know, because this is how we will have to understand this, and then there is no problem. Tesham shukam shashvatam. Once you understand that you are a reflection, and because you have to have the clarity, because you have to develop the more sattva quality, because once you have tapas, and dhanam, tapas, because karma, when you do all those satkarmas, and finally when you do it, finally you will be able to reflect, you will be able to apprehend as clearly as possible, and you will not be able to comprehend. No one will be able to comprehend. Tesham shukam shashvatam ne teresham, not others. Tesham, they only be able to shukam shashvatam. The continuous everlasting bliss will be available to them, not to others. Upanishad is very, very emphatic about it. It doesn't take any bones about telling, because what is not possible if you don't do that. So, sum and substance of is one supreme ruler, because he is the one, because he is controlling, he is the inner self of all. Whether you call him immanent, whether you call him swatantra, whether you call him, because he is the one. You are a dasa, and because you are part of him, Sariram Imamsika, he is the Sariram, we are all part of it. We will have to do the service to him, like your hands and legs are doing service to you. This one quality appears in all individuals, and the wise realize him in their own hearts. That is the only way you can. Finally, when we say, because then brain coherence and the heart coherence, when we say the feelings are the one finally we able to give you that particular the component of how you are able to get that feeling of the apprehension. Otherwise, you will not be able to apprehend even a bit of it. He is eternal. See, since he is eternal, he has seen so many things, and once you try to have that particular thing, you are able to appreciate how, because because for us, we had our own infancy, our own, because a teenage, and we have also subsequently had our own experiences. But then, all these things, because have gone now. Now we are in the age, because in the teenage I can't able to recreate, but I only able to remember what happened to me, what I did, what are all the good things I did, what are all the stupid things I did, I may be able to recall. But I am always fond of remembering only, what is good for me. I don't remember, what has taught me a good lesson. That is the problem with us. Once you know that, because you will not be able to recreate, it goes off. So, like, once you have that particular rejoicing moment, because then because it is something like that, you will not be able to recreate, because as you go about, there is a level of, because the rejoicing. As you give up, all your attachment, all you give up your wants, you don't have the same wants as you had 25 years before. You wanted, because that was a need, you thought it is a need. Even whether it was a need or not, there is a different matter, but you thought, everyone is having, I should also have it. But now I can, because now I don't want to, struggle for that, because you have to work for that and get it. Now, ability to work for those things are not possible. At the same time, because I understand, because what I have gone through, now I have got some greater thing to attain, because that Sattva has slowly crept in. I also good satsanga, and I have heard from so many masters. They're all telling, look, you are still in the dream stage, you are not coming to the waking stage. That's what they say, because we are all still sleeping. When you are indulging in this world, the Upanishad says, we will be seeing somewhere, in the following mantras, they are all Jagrati. In fact, we have seen in one of the mantras, because he is Jagrata. And we are all once in Sushuptasthana. We have not waken up. The Upanishad is trying to wake up. That is why, because that the famous arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. Uttishta, Jagrata, Varan, Nibodhita. What we have seen in the end of the second chapter of the first Adhyaya, where Vivekananda has taken it to the level of, its full meaning, because as we have seen, that is where, finally we'll have to get, because we are still sleeping. It is trying to wake up. And when it's in Eko Vashi Sarva Bhutantatratma, we know, we have seen in all these Upanishads, it is the same life force in everyone. But why Upanishad is trying it again and again? Is it not, we are all fools, once it has been told, we understand. No, it never gets lodged. It lodged, it has to not only lodge, it has to lodge in your heart as well. The mind coherence and the heart coherence, both will have the mind and the heart, unless there is a intended action will not be same, unless there is a mind coherence and heart coherence. That is why to get it lodged indelibly into your mind as well as in heart, the Upanishad brings this point again and again. And then tasmat asyam ye anupashyanti dhiraha, the wisdom, the wise people understand. They have to understand like this. Tesham sukham shasvatam. For them, because there is no question. In the sense, sukham shasvatam, in the sense, no sorrow will affect them. And no sort of the excitement will also not affect them. They'll neither be excited nor be thrown down into the dump, because they will be always balanced. Stita prajna, they will be there. Then next comes the next mantra. It goes to another level. Nityo nityanam chetano chetananam. Yeko bahunam yo vidadati kaman. Tamatmasyam ye anupashyanti dhiraha tesham shanti shashvati netaresham. Same mantra, they have different. We took it in tandem. Nityo nityana. Chetana chetanana. In the sense, because he is Nityo Nityana, he is ever, because he is unborn. Ajaya, he doesn't have any, because he doesn't have to be, not like us, because we have to take the birth, because to understand this and all. He is the one who has created the whole cosmos, universe and all. For him, because Chetano Chetanana, he is the finally one gives the consciousness, because the lights up the entire world, the entire creatures, entire thing, the entire activity is because of him. Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Paramam Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. Param Brahma is the one, is the ultimate. Param Dhamma, because the place where, suppose, you think, he has got a place, he is there everywhere. If you go to the horizon, he is there. Still you walk, he is there. Will you be able to cover the entire horizon in your vista of your knowledge? You will not be able to. Likewise, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. Purusham Sasvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhu. He is such a master, because that is who has been trying to be understood by every religion in their own way. Zoroastrians tried to do the Zendavesta. The New Testament has tried to bring the Christianity form, because the vision of the God. Old Testament tries to bring the Jewish vision of the God, and so is, because the other scriptures, Quran try to bring about their view. Jainism also has brought in, because it is a part of, they have also taken from the Vedic lore and their own thought process. The masters, Mahavir, and as well as Buddha has tried to bring in everything and all, but they have all brought everything finally to know what? The philosophy doesn't give you the life, but life has to go on with philosophy imbibed in every part of it. It doesn't have to be, it is more to be experienced, not to be discussed, not to be expressed. The philosophy is not for the purpose of argument, as we have been seeing. This philosophy is good, that philosophy. We are nobody. We don't know what is our everyday philosophy of life. And once you have a spontaneity, once you have the ability to rejoice every moment, once you are able to see the mystery in everything what you encounter, once you find there is nothing, why there is no boredom to me? We get bored because, because our mind is engaged in so many other things habitually. But if we are not able to cling on, the mind gets bored. We have to debore ourselves, rebore ourselves, the spiritual thought. That is finally which is coming into this. Once we understand, because this is Tesham Shrukam Shashvatam, once we have that, nothing will affect. Nothing will affect in the sense it is absolute nothing. You will not be able to, because you will be able to take everything, because they will try, you will have to be like a witness and all. The witness and all, it may be said it easier, but it may not be able to absorb in practical life. So how am I to take it? If you want to take it in a common man's language, kya farak padta hai? It happened, it came, it went. Likewise, it is a sort of a thing. So with this, we will try to complete this session. And the next mantra, which is part of this two mantras, we will take it up next week. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विश्विदावहैः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So Prabhupada, everything is fine?
Yeah, back to headquarters,
இல்ல இப்போ ஹைதராபாத் தான்.
ஏன்னா இது connectivity is good.
Finally I took a decision. I took act and sacked Airtel.
Act has been your favorite really. I've been with you for some years.
ஆமா, எங்க அங்க பெங்களூர்லயும் ஆக்ட் தான் இருக்கு. And act is reasonably well. And because Vidya also has got a lot of sessions to take every day.
Correct.
And for me also to attend and all those things, it is good. Finally, this has brought in, some sort of peace of mind.
Yeah, because it's very essential. அது என்ன ஆகணும், எல்லாம் prepare இது பண்றது எல்லாமே it has to go through smoothly. Yeah,
correct.
This act on the we also had for 6-7 years. Then we changed it to Google Fiber. Sorry, not Google, Geo Fiber.
Geo நல்லா இருக்குன்றாங்களே.
நல்லா இருக்கு. We are using it for 4 years now. It's very stable.
இங்க ஜியோ in this area கொஞ்சம் ப்ராப்ளம் இருந்தது.